Right, so today we are finally going to find out the court's decision on Mohammed's right to remain in the US. After 2 torturous years of living together as a married couple and a year of Danielle threatening to get him deported, filing for annulment, manipulating him into coming back into her life, withdrawing the annulment and then refiling for them, they finally ended up in court for a hearing to put it all to bed. If the marriage is annulled, it's as if it never existed and Mohammed has no right to stay in the US. But if they end up divorced, it's as if the marriage just didn't work out and he'd be entitled to remain. It all comes down to this. And after just an hour in the courthouse, a decision was made.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Oh look, Danielle is crying again. While she did hint that she'd be heartbroken if Mohammed got deported and she'd never get to see him again, there was anger in that car door slam, so I don't think things went exactly how she expected them to.
If I go through with the annulment, he's gonna fight it. And then my lawyer advised me to convert it to a divorce.
Of course he was going to fight it. Did she genuinely think that he was just going to sit there, listen to her read out all of her accusations, and then just accept them? Thankfully for Mohammed though, he didn't have to fight any of it. Apparently, the judge told Danielle's lawyer that it would be nearly impossible for them to win the case if they proceeded with the annulment. So instead, with seemingly little other option, they changed it to a divorce.
So you're divorced from this?
Because we got a divorce, it will be more difficult to get him deported. In the eyes of the court, our marriage just didn't work.
Which is pretty much how everyone else sees it. I mean, this wasn't exactly a normal, healthy marriage where Mohammed dipped out of nowhere as soon as he got the green card. In fact, he actually left before it got to that point. He was just a few weeks away from fulfilling the 2-year marriage requirement to get one. Things were just so bad that sticking it out with Danielle wasn't worth him guaranteeing his right to stay in the US.
It does hurt that I couldn't prove fraud, because I feel like no one's ever going to believe me.
I don't think that it's that no one believes her. I mean, a lot of people had questions about Mohammed's initial intentions. I know I did. It's just that no one's gonna think that she's an innocent victim in all this. And it's not just Mohammed's side of the story either. Like, she's done so much on camera that was broadcast for the whole world to see, that people have plenty of information to make their own minds up.
Who do you see come to court with a selfie stick? And he's making himself look like an ass, and people are gonna think he's crazy.
Yeah, he's a...
To be fair, this could also be seen as a bit of a self-own from Danielle. If he felt he had to bring it to court for his own safety, her saying how crazy that is just highlights how insane she must be, that he felt that he had to go to those lengths to protect himself. That said, he is definitely enjoying it, isn't he? I mean, he's walking past her with a swagger like he's in an action movie, waiting for an explosion to go off behind him.
Danielle was asking me to pay for her lawyer's fees, which is $500. That's not a big deal for me. I will pay it for her. I do feel justice is done today. To be divorced, it feels like I'm free.
A small price to pay for salvation.
It's funny how he didn't hire a lawyer and she did, but he's the one ending up having to pay for one. But I'm sure he couldn't care less. He's finally free. That said, freedom is an illusion, and before he can drive off, Danielle approaches him yet again.
What?
I think we need to meet and talk later.
Enough, okay?
This woman is relentless. What the hell is there to talk about? The only reason he's given her the time of day for even one fleeting second since he left her is because she's been threatening him with this annulment hearing. Now it's over and they're divorced and it's clear she hasn't got enough evidence to back up her claim. She has nothing to use against him anymore. There's literally no reason for him to ever talk to her again.
You have my number, you can text me.
When are you supposed to go back?
I'm gonna stay until this evening, okay?
Okay.
Why would he tell her he's sticking around, even if just for the day? I guess he might have said that she could text him, hoping that she would just leave him alone for now, knowing that he can ignore her later on. But the only thing she's going to be thinking now that she knows that he's going to be staying in town for a few more hours is...
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Still, although he wasn't heading back to Florida straight away, he was wasting no time letting the world know about his status as a newly divorced man.
He couldn't even give me a day just to process it. I haven't even talked to my kids, so they're gonna find out from social media what has happened.
Damn, 332 likes in just 2 hours. Mohammed has clearly got a decent number of people backing him up here. One thing I don't get though is why Mohammed hasn't blocked Danielle and everyone associated with her on every form of social media. I can imagine it would suck having your family find out like this, but honestly, I don't think our kids are gonna care. They're just gonna be glad that it's all over. Well, almost all over.
Why do you have to talk to him about?
Because there's just some things I want to get off my chest.
Like what? You're literally gonna go there and you're gonna come back and it's just gonna end stupidly.
Once again, Danielle's kids are showing far more maturity than she is. Honestly, what is she gonna say to him? He doesn't have anything to say to her, he doesn't want to listen to her, he doesn't want to be friends with her, and he certainly doesn't want to take her back. So seriously, what is the point? This court case needs to be her closure or this is never gonna end.
I want him to hear what I think. I want him to know that I'm over him. I'm done with him.
It's so funny, her words and her actions are always complete opposites of each other. Like she says that she just wants to be friends with him, but then loses her mind when she finds out that he's seeing someone else. She calls him 100 times a day, and when he finally answers, she says she wants him to leave her alone. And now she says she's over him, but she's going round to his house to see him. I would honestly respect her so much more if she was just honest with us about how she was feeling.
What?
Can I come in and talk to you?
I told you I don't want to meet you. Danielle started messaging me that she wants to talk. She showed up in my door, knocking. I have to talk to her now.
To be fair, this can't be surprising. I mean, it's not the first time that she's tracked him down and turned up uninvited. And he did tell her that he would be there. But let's at least hope that this encounter goes a little bit smoother than the last one. And it will take some beating, to be fair. Anyway, they start having the conversation outside, but Danielle says that it's freezing and asks to come in. So Mohammed lets her on one condition.
Before we finish this conversation, I have a request. If you're going to scream or raise your voice, I will ask you to leave.
Mohammed, I'm the one that's been acting like an adult today.
I'm glad she specified it was just today because she sure as hell hasn't been the mature one over the last 3 years. So the first thing she brings up is the fact that he posted about the divorce before she had a chance to tell her family.
You should have the respect enough to let me tell my family because they were expecting an annulment.
So you're telling me that I'm not allowed to use my social media because your family is going to find out?
This is what she's saying, and part of me does get it. But if her family are following Mohammed on social media or seeing his posts, that's not really his problem. If they were on good terms, I'd like to think that he'd be a bit more considerate. But given she's been trying to get him deported from the country that he's been building a life in for the last 3 years, I think he can be forgiven for not putting her feelings first here. In response, he basically tells her that different people have different ways of communicating to the world, and as a result, she erupts on him.
You know that is freaking
Okay, here we're done. Please leave. Don't curse at me, please leave.
No, I'm tired of you making this about you today.
Please leave.
How is he making this about him today? He went to court because, thanks to her, he was legally obliged to. And he was literally just existing in his accommodation when she came knocking. Now that she's breached his condition of talking to him respectfully, he has every right to tell her to leave. Unsurprisingly, she refuses, so he threatens to call the police if she doesn't, but she just continues her rant.
Leave.
I deserve a lot more respect than what you gave me the last 2.5 years.
What respect you talking about? You are the one who disrespected me by cursing off.
in the United States if it was not for me.
Okay.
I like that he's not even rising to it anymore. Now the courts have made their decision, she can say whatever she wants, and he has nothing to gain from trying to change her mind or trying to placate her. Although now she realizes that she's lost her power over him, she tries to reinstill the fear by making threats to start it all over again.
And don't think I'm done with immigration. I am sending all my evidence to immigration. You are a jackass. Have a good life. You were the worst mistake in my life.
Regardless of how much weight you give to either of them for the failure of the relationship, surely that could be said about both of them. I'd actually be so curious to hear down the line if Mohammed has a long and happy life in the US. Whether putting up with Danielle for all this time was worth it for that.
Nothing but an arrogant, selfish, worst mistake in my life. You don't know how to treat the person that gave you the opportunity to be here in the United States.
It genuinely is like she thinks that she should be able to do and say whatever she wants, and he should have to put up with absolutely all of it and spend his entire life on his knees thanking her because she brought him over. The entitlement is actually crazy.
You're making yourself look bad right now. Just go.
I'm done with you.
Thank you.
Have a nice life. Back in Tunisia.
I'm done with you, as if that isn't a win for him and a big fat L for her. In the last video, it looked like Mohammed's temper was getting the better of him, but I've never seen him so calm and composed. It's like he's finally found inner peace despite being in the presence of his arch nemesis.
I wanted him to hear everything I had to say before I left, and I wanted to leave on my terms, not his terms.
I know he used me, and I won't stop till he gets sent back to Tunisia.
Oh my goodness. He dumped her, refused to get back together with her, called the police on her when she stalked him across the country, and then beat her in a court of law without even needing a lawyer. How the hell does she think that that's her leaving on her terms? But hey, whatever will give her closure. Thankfully, the long and arduous annulment process is finally over, but the season isn't finished yet. As always, there is a big juicy season finale tell-all episode to come. So if you don't want to miss another round of Muhammad versus the world, make sure you're subscribed down below, and as always, thanks for watching.